This unit in the Helen Bader Foundation CBRF Caregiver Training Program is entitled Activities in the CBRF. This video workbook-based training program has been edited from the Alzheimer's Making Connections Activity Program, a state-funded program of the Alzheimer's Association of Southeastern Wisconsin and the Center for Consumer Affairs, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. The workbook and video have been edited to correspond with the format of the Helen Bader Foundation CBRF Caregiver Training Program. In caring for dementia residents, it's important to know and understand the importance of an individualized activity program. This unit will be presented by Jill Magliocco and Deborah Mickelson and will be divided into 9 activity segments, which are assessment, group structure and process, art, food, exercise, life skills, recreation, animals, and music. In the back of your workbook, you will find learning tools and activities for each segment that will help you in developing your own individualized activity program. All written materials in this unit are not presented on the video, so be sure to read all written materials before taking the post-test. We will start the activities in the CBRF unit with the pretest. The pretest and the post-test are both the same. You will take the pretest at the beginning of the unit, and the responses to the pretest will not be reviewed until after you have taken the post-test at the end of the unit. These tests will help you to identify the important information you will need to learn from each unit. Your responses to the pretest and post-test questions will not be graded. Feel free to take notes in your workbook during the presentation of each unit. Now, turn off the videotape and complete the activities in the CBRF pretest in your workbook.
So kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long time. You'll never know how much I care, so kiss me once again. It's been a long time.
Sit down.
You'll never know how much I care about you, even though you don't care about me.
Okay?
So kiss me once.
You're a good winker.
Kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Bum, bum.
Who is she? We know she has a past somewhere, but do we know about her now and even yesterday? How does our knowledge about her past help us work with her more effectively today? Is this assessment form just another piece of paperwork, or does it represent possibilities, discoveries, a source for map making?
Assessment is the single most important component of a successful activity program. It goes beyond that piece of paper we are all required to complete, getting to the essence of the individual that you're working with. Activity program needs to be focused on the client's strengths and needs. Each interaction you have with the individual with Alzheimer's disease is an assessment process. Assessment is an ongoing process.
Hello, I'm Debbie Mickelson, and I'm from the Southeastern Wisconsin chapter of the Alzheimer's Association.
I'm Jill Magliocco from the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Information and Training Center. Today we're going to talk about activity programming for persons with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. Activity programming is the key to providing quality care and quality of life for these individuals. It reinstates a sense of value and attaches the person to social roles they once had.
In this next section, we will get to hear Michael discuss group structure and process, and then we will get to see him in action.
If you don't give a resident time to respond, either one, they could feel intimidated the next time you ask them a question and they won't answer. Or two, maybe the first time you asked them, they just didn't understand what you're saying. Maybe they couldn't hear it. Maybe they're not receiving it correctly. Instead of hat, like I said, you might have been telling them, have you ever owned a cat, or something like that. That's happened to me before. I always let the resident dictate the conversation. I figure if they have something to say, let them say it. It might not be appropriate to the topic, or a resident might be confused and on one specific idea and they can't get out of their head, and every answer they give you is going to be about this. That's fine, as long as they're participating and they feel comfortable. If you cut them off, like I said, they might feel intimidated and then they won't answer, or they'll shut themselves off. That's why we always shake hands, always do an introduction. There's always a lot of touching, holding of hands. Even saw at one point, I'm trying to think, I think it was Phyllis and Marie, they were interacting with each other saying, do you want the hat? Oh, I don't want it. Why don't you, why don't you take it? And that's great. If they're not paying attention, I'd rather have them interact with each other, because they probably won't do that, for a month or two. How are you? Okay, ladies, well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's enough people to do something, isn't it? Sure? Okay. Well, what we're going to do this morning, ladies, is we're going to continue our talk about hats. We've been talking about hats, and we've been making hats all week so far. And today is Wednesday, April 13th. We usually start out our programs with a poem. And this one will be no exception, Florence. This is our poem about hats. I cannot imagine that someone never had a hat. How could someone ever say they never wore a hat for play, or wore a hat simply for style, or wore a hat to make them smile? It doesn't matter what the make, or even what size you take. Lucille, for you. There you go. Great. There you go. Great. What else do we have? Peggy,
Yes,
don't you want to stay with us?
I do.
Do some singing and playing?
I just want to go out for a minute or something I have to do. Can you guess what it is?
No, I can't guess what it is. I was hoping you'd stay here with me for a little bit.
I'll have to go and tell you what's needed.
Okay. Can you stay with me for maybe a little bit, and then we can go where you need to go?
Yes.
Okay. It won't be real long, Peg. Who else needs one? The other Peg needs one. Hi. You're just resting your eyes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was wondering, Phyllis, if you've ever owned a hat.
A hat?
Yeah, like a hat. Like, yeah, you're
There's one.
Like, yeah, that's right. You're wearing one, and I'm wearing one.
Yeah,
Have you ever owned a hat?
I
think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because Marie said she wore hers.
A what?
Marie, next to you, wore her hat on very special occasions.
Yeah. She's got one.
Yeah. Let me show you the hat that you have on to refresh your memory here. Let me show you this, Phyllis. Does something like this look familiar?
Is that on mine?
Yes, that was yours.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Well,
When would you wear that kind of hat, Phyllis?
well, just around here.
Around here.
I don't go very far.
So just tootling around town, you'd wear it.
Inside.
Inside, you'd wear it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's an inside hat. Grace Braun. Gracie. Hi. Would you wear your hat outside?
Happy go. Happy to get side. Happy to go.
Outside?
Happy go good. Happy go
I know you don't like those, kiddo.
Happy to go. Happy go good.
Peggy, would you wear your hat outside?
Happy go side.
Outside, yes.
Outside.
Okay, good. How about this one? Daisy.
Oh,
Hi.
okay.
Did you ever own a hat, Daisy?
Oh, sure.
Sure you did. What kind?
Well, when you first see sin,
Yeah.
breakout
You-
thing.
Would you wear your hat outside? No, you wouldn't. You wore it inside?
I didn't have enough meat.
You didn't. Would you wear it on a special occasion?
I might.
You might. Like maybe for a party? Or would you wear it to church? Wear your hat to church? No, you wouldn't.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Just for parties. Party hat. Okay. Okay. Florence, did you ever wear a hat or own a hat? Florence? You're squeezing my hand. I know you're awake, kiddo. Florence? Florence? She's tired, huh? There you go. Florence, I'm gonna come back to you. I'll let you think about it, okay? I know you're squeezing my hand and squeezing my thumb, so she must be awake. Maybe this will help wake her up, Lucille, if we do a song that mentions hats. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. One kind of hat that no one mentioned yet was a bonnet. Something we wear on what holiday? When do we wear a bonnet?
Easter.
Easter. Yeah, we just had that holiday, didn't we? But this song mentions a bonnet. Put on your old
Gray bonnet.
Yeah. Put on your old gray bonnet with the blue ribbons on it, and we'll hitch old Dobbin to the shade. And through the fields of clover, we'll drive up to Dover on our golden wedding day. What's that, Peggy?
A lady's needs sometimes,
So a lady likes to have a hat sometimes, is that?
not a hat. She needs you in her.
She needs me.
No, not you, not for this.
Oh.
A lady has to go.
Uh-huh.
She, I don't know why that's so important.
Well, we're just about done, Peg. So how about when we're done, we'll go together, okay? But we always like to do this to say goodbye to each other. I've had residents start, crying and, grabbing onto your arm and say, don't go, don't go. I said, well, I'm not leaving you for good. I'm just going to be downstairs. We're going to have lunch. Someone else is coming to see you, and I will see you tomorrow.
So I'll look for you again works a little bit better
Yeah,
than ending
oh,
it some
yeah.
other ways.
I found that too, But you don't want to upset them when you've had them interested in what you have to say and in a good mood for 45 minutes to an hour. You don't want to end on a sour note, Yeah. So merrily, every tear will be a memory. So wait and pray each night for me till we meet again.
Michael has an uncanny way of capturing the essence of the individuals within his group, really meeting their needs and making a connection on their level.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that he allows enough time for those interactions to happen.
Exactly. People with Alzheimer's disease really need a longer amount of response time, and he's real sensitive to that.
Mm-hmm. I think another thing that struck me about this particular group and a point that I like to make is that there really isn't any pure art group or any pure music group, and that most of the time it's a combination of all those things, and reminiscence is everywhere.
Michael's pulling together two different types of media, the music and the reminiscence.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And having the props was very important.
Right. He also, if you notice, redirected one of the individuals back into the group. Mm-hmm. She was intent on leaving, but then he was able to convince her and pull her back into the group.
Right.
Which is real important with this clientele. The rest of the video is set up in such a way, that Debbie or I would set up the day for a person with Alzheimer's disease. The beginning segment you're going to see is an art activity. Art activity is often put early in the day because art requires a great deal of concentration on the part of the person with Alzheimer's disease, and morning seems to be a time where the individual is better able to focus. Art also requires some type of creative thinking ability, which is diminishing clearly in the person with Alzheimer's disease. So we try to make it as easy as possible for that individual by putting it in a time of day where they have many of their strengths. We're going to see a segment in which Janet, the group leader, is doing an art activity with a group of people with Alzheimer's disease.
The whole process needs to involve as many of the channels in the person as possible. I mentioned to Deb that a lot of the residents don't favor art, and that makes it difficult. And I know in a lot of my other groups, I say I work with individuals and groups. And as the Alzheimer's progress, that's oftentimes the case.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, people are comfortable with visual arts. I mean, this is the generation where if you couldn't sing, they told you to move your lips, and if you couldn't draw a tree that looked like a tree. I mean, we're not working with people who are just real comfortable with the visual arts. Plus, they can't see so great to begin with.
We talked at one time, and you said this marvelous thing about how very often they can't do it themselves, so you let them use you to get it accomplished.
Oh, Deb, you're a mean one, aren't you? This was another conversation, wasn't it?
Yes.
You know, we say we try to reach their channels and tap that energy and help create a different sense of themselves. Well, in a way, we're an extension of themselves when they can't, and it's not just a physical handicap. We're talking about a psyche that we can't see, but is so tangible because their whole presence is changed with the Alzheimer's. So it's like we intuit, yes, but we also know professionally, so we become their conduit. Like right now in spring outside?
Oh, they come to life, yes.
no tree out there could bloom this many colors, but in our imaginations, we sure made it bloom many colors. And the fresh leaves. What happens in this? What happens in the summertime? They begin to dry out.
Blooms. Well, this is the summertime, isn't it?
Spring and summer, a lot of trees bloom. Most trees bloom in spring. And in summer, the trees are usually full of foliage. And then in the fall, what happens?
They kind of die
start to
or
drop
something.
off.
The trees.
Dry out.
And sometimes they're very colorful, and sometimes they're very brown. When they fall to the ground, sometimes they're as colorful as these, which you made in the fall. We made these in the fall.
This could be the last and only one she's ever going to do, so she's not going to just mishmash it up. It's going to be a bit of art, I hope. I can dream, can't I? Now, should I find something to put down there?
If you want to. And then we're going to work on this in a little bit. Right now, we're going to have to stop after you finish this section. It's going to be a tissue collage and acetate, and it's going to look like what we have up there, stained glass. Look here.
Beautiful.
Who did this?
Did I do that?
Who did this? Who did this?
I'm an artist and I don't know it.
Good.
Many times it is very difficult to involve people in art activities. It seems that that generation hadn't had much exposure to that. So leading in with the reminiscence and then moving into the activity seemed to hook in those people a little bit more.
Right, it gives them something concrete to connect the activity to. And Janet really does that well in that session.
Oh, and that woman was so excited about being able to create something. Yeah. We have some pieces of artwork here.
Let me show you a technique that I stumbled on in my work. This is a picture that was done by Gert, and she was a later stage person with Alzheimer's disease. What I did, this was done in a group setting, but basically on a one-on-one basis. What I did to make a connection with Gert was to take her finger and dip it into some acrylic paint, and I immediately did achieve a connection. Her eyes immediately lit up and looked right into mine, and then referred back to the paper. I began moving her finger with that paint across the paper. People with Alzheimer's disease, as you know, perseverate, and she could follow through with that repetitive motion and created this design. That was all we did in that session. That was about all that she had the attention span for, and it was only a matter of about 5 to 7 minutes for that activity. Then we let them dry, and at a later point brought everyone's pictures back to the group and looked at them and then decided what they were. People with Alzheimer's disease can't conceptualize an image and then transfer it to paper, so I decided to do it the opposite way, by allowing them to create the image and then looking at it and deciding what it was. When the group looked at this, they immediately saw carrots, so I took a fine line black pen and outlined the image of carrots. Other residents are able to do that outlining themselves, and let me show you an example of that. In here, the idea is similar with this process. It's a wet-on-wet process, though. Wet watercolor brush with wet paper. And then the design just kind of creates itself. With Catherine saw a rainbow immediately when the piece was finished and was able to go in and draw those lines to create her rainbow, which really gave her a sense of ownership and a sense of accomplishment in doing the piece.
I hear a few things. I hear that it's important to simplify the process, and that although you end up with a product, that might not always be your original aim.
Exactly. One of my focuses in doing art with people with Alzheimer's disease is to create success, immediate success for them with a simple process, as you said. And these two processes are relatively simple and safe. In using art you need to be aware of the safety issue in using non-toxic materials.
Next, we'll be seeing two activities that center themselves around food. The first one that we will be looking at is more of a sensory experience. Make sure that you always realize the uniqueness of every person that you're working with, and that when you come in with an activity, it's hard to say, I have this, this, and this I'm going to do. You really have to look at the individuals that you're working with and draw upon each of the individuals' strength. And I learned that doing that here, and I see staff doing that here, and I learned from just from this facility in general that everybody here tends to do that with all the clients. So,
Jim, what is your favorite fruit? What kind of fruit do you like? We have apples and oranges and strawberries. Do you like a fruit in here? You like apples, yep. Where's that big red apple? Prettiest apple right here.
That's beauty. I like apples.
Get that apple.
If you give me a sharp knife,
That's
that I
a
can
good
peel
one,
it,
huh?
and a salt shaker.
You like salt on your apple?
Yeah,
That's a good one. And
I
Janelle,
think that comes from when I was younger and I used to steal green apples.
what kind of fruit do you like?
You know, I used to shake them off the tree.
You like apples? You like apples? You like apples? Do you like oranges?
A banana? We're trying banana right now.
All right, try the banana, it's good.
Irma, I'm gonna put a banana in your plate, okay?
Okay.
That was that a nice ripe
Had a
one?
banana for breakfast. And I'm gonna put one in your plate too, Esther.
I like them when they're
That's a
ripe,
good
yeah,
banana.
but not too ripe.
Clara?
Looking at a banana.
Oh, I'm gonna eat it. I can't. Oh, that's what we get out of a banana.
Yeah, what kind of things out of here do you think we could make with a banana?
Yeah.
Anybody have some suggestions?
Yeah, fruit
We
salad.
can make a fruit salad.
Pie.
Pie.
Yeah, banana pie.
You don't have it on there, but you have banana cake.
Cake. Got the cake right there. It's got cherries on top of it.
And cherries on top.
It's around.
And cookies.
Yeah. Can we make banana cookies?
Oh, I don't make nothing.
I don't know.
We could make a banana cake.
just like today's group, you know, even if it is just tasting something sour, it's like, I remember it's sour, yuck, and I remember that I don't like this. So it's like trying to bring something that evokes a really, some kind of stimulus, some kind of emotion or a reaction.
I didn't see that.
Would you like to try it? Well, would you like to try it?
Try it.
Okay.
You're brave. Yeah, I'm brave.
Who's gonna be brave and try a line?
No, I don't want mine.
Oh, that's salty.
Making lemonade.
Oh.
Yeah,
if you're making
it's salty.
It's horrible.
Oh.
You're real salty.
I'm afraid I'll get sick of these.
Yeah, you don't have to eat the. Oh. Irma?
Very salty.
What does that taste like?
Like a lemon.
Jim, this is a
It's
lime.
like a lemon.
You wanna try it?
God. It's lemon.
It's pretty sour, but give it a try.
That's a lemon.
Lime on a lot of drinks.
Yeah, they do that, yeah.
Pass that lime around. That's what you just tried.
No, it's no, I don't want to try it.
Take that fruit.
Try it.
I think we should have Deb
There's a
try.
pie that has
I'll
lime.
try a lime. Let me try a
try
lime.
it, yeah. What's
I'll-
it juicy?
let
What's
me
the name of that pie that they use limes?
Bananas are good.
What's that? Key lime pie, is it? Or
Something like that.
a lime
Now, you see
pie?
if you like that, and don't lie now.
All right. You want me to try this? All right. Here we go.
Lime, this is a slice of a lime. Did you try it? No?
You must like sour things, huh?
Wonderful.
Oh. No, no. No, thank you. No.
Too salty.
Did you try the lime?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Did you try that?
No, I didn't.
Tell me if that is sweet or sour. Just a little bite. Ah!
Salty.
Hey, Jim, try
Very
this one.
salty.
Did you try it? What'd you think of
You don't have to eat it. Is that sweet or is that sour?
that? Yeah.
That's horrible, huh? Are we being healthy this morning? But I do have prizes for you because you've been so wonderful. Because I call these Fruit Olympics, you each get a medallion for being so wonderful in the Fruit Olympics. Regina, you are wonderful. You guys have been troopers. Janelle, you've been wonderful in the Fruit Olympics. Dolores, you even tried a lime and a lemon. You are a winner.
You are a winner.
Irma, this you can keep. It was wonderful. You've been a wonderful participant.
Can I take this home?
You can take that home.
I think it's very interesting that she engages those people on very many different levels. I mean, visually they're seeing the fruit, actual fruit, they're getting to touch it, and then getting to smell and taste all that stuff. And then she relates it back to the real world in terms of what can you do with these different fruits. So I found it to be a very interesting activity.
She really gets the individuals in the group involved at each level that they're comfortable with participating or able to participate. It's also neat the way she introduces the lemon and the lime. Even though it's not necessarily a pleasant sensory stimulus, the response she gets from the group is just, it's fun. And they're having fun with it, and you can tell.
I could hardly watch that segment without wanting to pucker myself. It's like, ooh.
And I thought it was great that the leader herself took a bite of the lime.
You bet.
And took part in the group.
And to the Fruit Olympics Awards.
Right.
That was great. A nice touch.
Yeah.
Nice finish for that. I loved how she allowed lots of time for responses. I can't overstress that enough. Many times we try to hurry these people along or stretch them.
And you really got that sense from the participants that they were real comfortable. They were real comfortable in how she let them proceed through the group. Yeah, I agree.
The next segment addresses a cooking group within a nursing home setting, and many of the residents have more advanced disease.
One of my main goals is having people do as much as possible for themselves within, and that's where you get to know the person, but sometimes the person will surprise you. So you try something even though you're not sure it's going to work, or you're not sure what they're going to do with it. Like Lucille, I didn't know if she would stir it. I had no idea.
What are we gonna mix the cornbread in? I got the recipe, but I don't know how much it makes, so maybe we should take a large bowl, huh? We got a smaller one. Which size do you think? We're making cornbread. Can you help?
You like that so much, do you?
Daisy, can you help me make cornbread?
Well, I don't know.
Well, let's take a look at the recipe. It calls for a half a teaspoon of salt.
I follow one for the pan in the bedroom. I have to take.
We're going to put some
there.
salt in here.
That's here. That's
What does
right.
that say?
Under the best.
Daisy.
It's taped under there.
What does that say?
Salt.
Salt, right. That's what we're putting
How much
in.
salt would you take?
About a half a teaspoon. Here. You hold that.
Just that?
Yeah, hold it over the bowl.
Oh, no, honey.
Okay, dump it in. Dump it in there.
Where?
Right there. Good. Thank you. Remember when you used to bake?
I do.
Yeah. And when you put eggs in a bowl, we had to take the shell off, huh? Do you remember how you did that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peg, how'd you do it? Do you remember?
Well, just crack it.
That's right. Good, Peg. You just crack it into the bowl. On the edge of the bowl, huh? You gotta be real careful you don't get any shells in. Whoops. Sorry, did we get you?
Somebody got a big bowl of wine.
It kind of scored it, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Teresa, can you mix this for me?
Look at.
Mix it. Here, there's the spoon. Good, excellent.
Good.
Keep going, you're doing good. Keep going, you're doing good. I'm just gonna mix that in. Good, the lumps are leaving. Here's some juice for you.
I think this activity that we just looked at is a great way to combine a sensory activity with a reminiscing group. It's a great way to meet the needs of individuals with various needs, as we saw in the group. I think I would have liked to have seen more sensory participation on the residents' part. I sometimes got the feeling that the leader was doing a little bit too much. Those individuals who had greater needs could have smelled the batter, could maybe have at least held the spoon if not been able to stir. It was wonderful to see the lady who had that wonderful sound going in conjunction with the repetitive stirring. It really seemed to suit a need to her, and the sound in the motion with stirring kind of went together, and she was really enjoying the activity.
And that perseveration of movement helped her just keep going, and she needed very little cueing.
The repetition that they have seems to be a skill, and we have to remember as group leaders to use that repetition as a strength, as a skill in our activities, and I think that is an excellent demonstration of it. Segment we're going to see is going to deal with exercise. Exercise is an essential part of the activity program. This is also an activity that Debbie and I would include in the morning, just prior to the lunch hour, where people have to sit for long periods of time. Mealtime is usually kind of a stressful time. Notice, what we'd like to point out to you is notice the use of props in this session. Exercise isn't just a mirroring kind of activity. Let's hear some comments from these next two group leaders and look at how they treat exercise.
With exercises, our goals are each day to exercise all of their joints that we can safely do while they sit in a chair. You know, ankles, knees, wrists, hands, you know. And also, we try to exercise the mind a little bit. And like sometimes we'll take the ball and we'll throw it back and forth to them, and as we're throwing it, we'll say, now look at the ball, what's your favorite color on the ball? So we're giving them two kinds of exercise when we're doing that. And we have to be kind of careful, because if you have a client that can't move one hand, then you might have them do an exercise where they hold their hands, and then they can take their good hand and help raise the bad one up, and that helps them in that respect.
Let's start by tapping our toes on the floor. Just kind
kind of get things rolling a little bit. Anyhow, you tap your toes while I get Max's foot pedals on the side. There, you got it. Okay. Hold that scarf out in front of you. Stretch your arms out. Okay, now lift it up. And down. That's right. And up. And down. And up. Now hold that scarf in one corner. Just one corner. Good, Esther. And then shake it up and down, and up and down, and up, down. Shake the moths out of it. I need a body. Good. Now take that scarf and tie a knot in it. Any way you want, tie a knot in that scarf. Tie a knot.
Let's roll it up in a ball. Just roll it up. Just roll it up. Just make it like a ball.
Tie a knot in the scarf.
Let's try it.
Oh, Jim, this is great.
Let's try it. Yeah, just go like this. Like this. Just put it in a ball. That's fine. There you go. Yeah, not too hard, huh? Okay.
Good. Good job. Dolores? Yeah. I know. Woo, good
That's
one.
kind of hard to catch.
Esther, touch it or bounce it back. Good. Jim?
That's it. That's hard to catch it.
Irma?
Come on.
Teresa?
Give it a kick. Give it a good kick.
Okay, Max. Good. It's coming to you, Irma. Can you do it with a little more oomph? Good, Esther.
We're going to be going home soon.
We go home at about 3 today. Kick the ball, Janelle. Good. Irma, can you cackle like a chicken? I'm going home soon. 3 o'clock. Go to Max. Okay, Max, your turn.
I'm just thinking that this particular program may have benefited from having music with a stronger beat so that people could have identified a little bit more with that. But they really did use a variety of props, and people got funny and they got excited and very involved.
Utilizing music with a real prominent beat is almost always a catalyst to movement. Oftentimes, a structured exercise activity wasn't really working on the unit that I was working on, and I would often put on polka records, and I soon had one resident dancing down the hall, and she would grab another and the two would dance, and pretty soon we had the staff and residents all dancing to polka music on the unit. And again, it was a source of exercise for the individuals, movements that they normally wouldn't do. Music is a very important part of that program.
Sure. I think also, too, the funny part when they were all acting like chickens. I mean, we might say, is this appropriate with adults? But they were having a really good time. Laughing is good exercise as well.
Right.
And sometimes we tend to take ourselves and our programs too seriously, so it was a nice break.
This next section describes life skill activities. And what we mean by that are those tasks that people have participated in all their lives, those tasks that provided structure to their day. that gave them responsibility throughout the day. Hobbies, interests, tasks, all of the above. The role of motherhood is a role that never seems to diminish in people with Alzheimer's disease. In my work with this population, I have found that Cabbage Patch dolls, stuffed animals, all sorts of dolls really fill that nurturing, that need to provide nurturing in these women who have been mothers.
I also find it very interesting, as you'll see just a little bit ahead here, that she's very busy and yet she's still taking care of that baby. You know?
And it comes so natural to her, which is wonderful to see. She has this kind of peacefulness yet busyness about her. I can remember on our unit a woman visiting with a tiny infant, and one of our more impaired individuals approached the mother and reached out for the baby. The mother offered the baby to the woman. As the staff stumbled over to catch the baby, Alice took the baby, cradled it, talked to it while the staff basically was in tears. We saw Alice respond in a way we had never seen her respond, so appropriately, so comfortably. Mm-hmm. Tasks such as mealtime, the reason why Debbie and I placed this here, these are tasks that need to occur throughout the day, but mealtime is a great time to pull in these types of life skill tasks. Having clients participate in the mealtime, setting the table, putting placemats out, meal preparation, meal cleanup are vital to their need to belong to the environment or the setting, to be part of a family, to be a unit, to function in a normal environment.
And the memories about completing those tasks run very deep.
When you're all done with those glasses, when they're all dried, we can put them in this cupboard right here, on the bottom shelf.
I don't know where they want it. We can.
I always try, you know, I've been putting these classes away for quite some time.
Worried about.
Okay.
Oh my.
So sad that I don't follow them.
Oh,
I should know everything by this
Oh,
time.
no, you don't, Joe. I go in the wrong drawer every day.
You do?
I sure do. All I have to do is keep on opening all the different drawers to find what I want.
I'm so glad there's somebody else sort of like me who likes to.
I think one thing that we don't show in this particular segment, which is also important, are outdoor activities.
Right.
Having some gardening or some puttering to do. There are many people that really respond to putting a golf ball when I talk about puttering around. That relates to something that they used to do. It's a little more recreational, but they've cut the grass, they've taken care of gardens, they've walked in the outdoors, they've enjoyed nature, and those things need to continue.
I can remember on our unit, one of the most successful activities was when the housekeeping woman came down with her cart of cleaning supplies. She would leave her cart in the hall, pull out her one item that she needed and disappear into a room. While she was in that room, the rest of the women on our unit were absconding things from her cart and going about their business, dusting, sweeping, polishing, cleaning, and they were at their happiest. It came naturally. It was a spontaneous activity. And these things are things we should have available for these individuals to meet those needs. Anyone can initiate them, not just the activity coordinator, the person responsible for activities in your facility.
And many times it becomes an issue of allowing them to occur rather than even initiating them.
There's a unit in central Wisconsin who purchased a set of dish towels specifically for a group of individuals in their facility. The laundry facility used to send them up to the unit every Monday, wet, in the laundry basket for the ladies to take outside to hang on the line, almost 12 months out of the year. While the towels were drying, the ladies would coffee clutch. When they would dry, someone would go out and get them, they would bring them back in, fold them, and they would be sent back to laundry until next Monday. Your mother and my mother had weekly laundry days, and we brought that back to the facility, again, to create that more home-like feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's real important. And I think we tend to, as activity programmers, we tend to forget about these basic things. And I think the rewards clearly outweigh the rewards of some of the other activities we plan.
Sure. And encouraging other staff members to allow time for some of those activities to happen, letting them brush their hair when it's possible, even though it takes 10 minutes longer than if you would do it for them. I can think of some other things, just brushing teeth, some of the daily activities of living that we can encourage the other staff members to let them participate in.
Right.
The next group of activities we've placed after lunch. It's a good time to slow down from the busyness of the day, to bring back some of those memories of the past, and to perhaps not be quite as cognitively challenged.
Well, the first activity I chose were the proverbs and sayings, and those are things that they all learned in their childhood, and maybe their mothers said them, and they've heard them hundreds of times. And it helps bring back, and it's like an automatic response, and it helps them feel like they're in control and very successful. And it's to bring back. And a lot of times I'll use that technique, and then we'll discuss the meaning of the sayings. And that's very good for just thought process, like, okay, why do we say this then? Like a bird in the hand is as good as two in the bush. And sometimes you get some real interesting discussions. Okay, anyone who knows the answer, say it out loud. Here we go. Easy come,
easy go.
Right. Good. Still water
Run deep.
runs deep.
Run deep.
Right. No news is
good news.
Good. You've got good memories, everybody. Time heals all
things.
All right. Do you know wounds? Right, Mildred. One rotten apple spoils the barrel, right? How about this one? You might have heard this one. Half of a loaf is better than
nothing.
Nothing, right, or none. The second thing I did, I run a segment called Nature Notes, and it's kind of my specialty. I love nature. Vi is very good at music. I do nature and crafts. And I key in whatever we're doing to the seasons. Now with the birds returning and it being springtime, I try to get them to be more aware of their environment when they're out of here as well. When they're here, they'll talk about it, and I'll ask them, did you see any birds this week? And whatever we're talking about. We do the weather a lot, cover the weather and the animals, and they all enjoy it. Now we're going to do our nature notes. And today we're going to look at birds.
We know, yeah.
It's April. Maggie, and what happens in springtime? A lot of our birds go south in the winter.
Yeah. They flock together.
Right. And this time of the year we start seeing the robins and the grackles and some of those birds. What happens in spring? Do they come back? Okay, we'll see what we know about birds. Okay. What's the opposite of bad?
Good.
Good? Right, Maggie? Maggie, can you tell me what the opposite of thin is?
Opposite what?
Thin.
Fat, bad.
Okay, good. And this is even written thin. What is the opposite of dirty?
Clean.
Clean? Is that right?
Clean.
Opposite of dirty?
Clean.
Clean. 1, 2, 9, and
And the opposite of hard?
Soft.
Soft, right?
Yeah.
Is this chair soft or hard?
Medium.
Medium. That's good, Rita. This chair is What's the opposite of close?
What?
Close.
Close there.
Did you say it, Maggie? What's the opposite? Pull apart? Close? If you're close to me, and Joanne is far, right? Maggie said it. Okay, the opposite of the weather today. Today it's rainy.
It's bad weather.
Yeah? What is the opposite of that?
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Maybe tomorrow it'll be sunny.
Yeah.
We all know that. Okay, one more. Can anyone tell me the opposite of down?
Up.
Up. Okay, you're doing a good job. Very good.
And you want input from them, you know, and so what you're really doing is you're getting them and trying to keep them involved in life. And what that does is it makes them feel their importance and to know that they did contribute something important to society. And it's just a way of keeping them involved in life. And it's a way of letting them know that the knowledge that they have is important. Okay, now let's stretch a little bit. Let's go. I'm in right, out right, upright, down right, happy all the time. I'm in right, out right, upright, down right, happy all the time. I hug myself and then I give a great big happy grin. I'm in right, out right, upright, down right, happy all the time. That's to keep you from going to sleep on me. Okay, now, how many of you have ever gone fishing? You have?
I caught a better fish. I wished I had the dollars I caught.
Did you fish a lot?
Sure, every day.
Oh.
I live by a lake.
Did you live by a lake?
In Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot you're a Los Angeles baby. Did you fish on that lake?
I fished in the lake shore down there. No, it was a big, I don't know what you call it. It was run by the house, a great big lake.
Okay, was it a part of the, what is that? What's the ocean?
I think they call it a bio.
A bio. Okay, yeah, that's what they used to be called, instead of rivers.
I caught buckets of fish. Sometimes on that long.
Can you remember any of the names of the fish?
Gaspagool and white perch and buffalo.
Yeah. Buffalo.
And trout.
And trout. Seems like buffalo and trout's always been a favorite food.
A trout is a good fish.
It is very good. Frida, did you ever fish? Did you ever go fishing?
Never.
Never went fishing? How many, anybody else in this group ever go fishing?
I'm the only one I've been.
Mildred, did you ever fish?
Yeah, sometime I did.
Did you?
But if I'm with somebody else, you know.
Okay. How about you, Ina? Did you ever go fishing? Ina, did you ever go fishing? Have you ever gone fishing?
I don't really know.
No? Okay. Olga, I'm no. There's another place that's way farther up north, I think about a 7.5-hour drive from here, and it's a place called Hayward. Hayward, Wisconsin. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a friend that has a cottage there.
Yeah, that's where they go to get their cottages, farther up north, and I think Hayward is probably one of the major places. Yeah.
They have the fish, the most popular fish up there.
I was going to ask you about that. Has anybody else here ever fried fish? Did you?
Everybody's a fried fish.
Did you? So a lot of people like to bake their fish. Some people don't eat fried fish.
I don't like baked fish.
Don't you? You like to fry it?
Fish. I used to fry it and then just have it stacked up.
Mildred, how did you fry your fish? What kind of a batter did you use?
Oh, no, just for fun. bread, a little bit bread on the hook and.
No, she said
Okay, no, not bait. How did you batter it? What did you cook your fish in? Did you put a batter on it?
Flour and the egg.
Wait, now Clara being from the South, I bet she made hers totally
I
different.
made it different with the cornmeal. I fried my fish in cornmeal, and that's the best way to fry a fish.
I guess if I would say one thing that I'd like to work on and would like to be better at is when they're talking, is to maybe be able to hear more of what each one is saying. You know, because sometimes when you get people all to talking at once, you almost miss something. And it's very important to them to know, to be recognized for what they said. You know, so I think that if I was going to work on anything, it's trying harder to listen and to be able to hear what each one of them individually, to be a really active listener, to hear what they're saying. And because the more information they give me, the more I know how to work with them, and I know what things to bring in that really interest them and that really were and are a part of their lives.
I think a lot is happening in this segment. I particularly like the leader's comment about taking the time to listen. So often I think we brush over those residents who aren't able to get out a coherent thought, but in here the leaders really allow time for the residents to participate, to respond, to be part of the group, even though their words may not be as coherent as ours.
And wow, what a group. They were really very closely knit. The environment in that particular facility worked against them in that it was really very noisy. And it surprised me a lot that they were so close-knit of a group.
The leaders really had them focused. It's really great. Utilizing proverbs and opposites and techniques like that, things we've learned in our childhood, like nursery rhymes, are wonderful techniques to bring into the activity program. Again, those things are so ingrained into us, they just seem to come out naturally with just a simple cue of a couple of words. The individuals seem to be able to finish some of those proverbs or do the opposites, and it's a lot of fun.
Again, a guaranteed success.
Success, right, which is a key. The fishing segment was fun. It was fun to hear about northern Wisconsin, about favorite places, about fishing, and the woman who was able to share about how she fried her fish, her particular technique. You could tell she was really enjoying this session, bringing back pleasant memories.
In this next segment, we will see an activity that involves people and their relationships with animals.
Things can happen, but it's going to happen when you're working with Alzheimer's. You just got to go with the flow. I mean, that's part of the program, and part of working here is everything is unpredictable. But if you never try, the residents aren't going to be able to show you what they can do. Because I think people get the idea that if a person has an Alzheimer's disease or any kind of dementia, that they can't do anything and they've lost everything, but they haven't. They need more cueing, but they're still able to think and they still can feel. And that's important that everybody knows that.
Yeah, but if they get together, in a bomb. That's what they did that one time I took them upstairs.
You want to give him a pretzel?
There's only one in there. Here he comes.
Don't put it in the box, and when he comes back over, can you reach down?
Over here, pretty soon.
Look, Francis.
No.
Lucille?
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
Oh,
Here, Ruby.
Oh, there you are. Now maybe you'll eat.
Will you eat this?
But he wants to go in your sleeve.
Well, he's cold. He says, here, here.
Maybe he's not hungry yet, you think?
Yeah, he isn't hungry and he don't like that. Oh.
Are you eating it?
Come on, be big, boy. Be a big boy.
Oh, he likes that cookie.
Want me to take him?
Oh, no. I
Violet,
just
you
like
want to
him.
see him?
I don't want him to get hurt.
Oh, no, we wouldn't hurt him.
No.
Goes again.
That's cute.
This one's got a couple bites, Chrissy.
It's going to crawl outside now.
Oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that the cutest thing?
You can close up on too, can't you?
Yeah? You want to pet him? Yeah. No?
Hand him over and see if she cares.
Oh, I don't know. They might fight, honey.
Oh, I don't think they fight.
What do you think, Pete? What do you like better, the hamster or the bird?
I think it's very important to some folks in their lives that they've had pets and to keep some of those ongoing relationships. In this particular segment, we've seen unusual animals in my book, but the response, all the touching and the nurturing and the mothering, and I think even the prevailing calmness of the atmosphere was evoked by having the animals present.
Right. People seem to respond to animals in a similar way that we respond to children and babies, and oftentimes bringing animals into the activity program is a successful thing to do. Again, they get that opportunity to nurture, which we've all done, it's a big part of our lives. Another thing I wanted to point out is that the activities that we're showing today aren't necessarily led by activity therapy staff. This particular segment was led by nursing assistants in the facility.
Mm-hmm. And I particularly liked Christy's point too. You don't always know what's going to happen, but many times if you take that chance, you might find something rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are not so good experiences, but you hope for the good ones.
Right. Bringing animals into the activity program isn't for everyone. You may have some negative responses, but this is wonderful in that it's kind of a spontaneous activity. The residents as well as the animals kind of lead the way.
Oh, and there's different levels of participation. Mm-hmm. Some were touching and actively involved and wanted to hold them and coo and talk, and others were just contented to watch.
Right.
And they were still involved. They were aware.
Right. I think we have to keep in mind, that brings up a good point, we have to keep in mind we need to allow the individuals to participate at their own level. And sometimes participation means that the individual may want to observe. But as long as they're attending to what's going on, that's participation, at least in my estimation. And I think we have to keep in mind some of those simple kinds of ideas are still important.
And keep our goals manageable.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The next segment we're going to look at is music, and we have a lot of different facilities to show and comments from a lot of different group leaders. Their comments in here are wonderful. I would like the viewers to pay particular attention to those comments. Music is an essential part of the activity program. Everyone can respond to it on all levels. I can remember some of the first music activities I conducted on our unit in which I had residents falling asleep. I initially panicked. I thought, I'm failing, I'm losing everyone. But no, in essence, I wasn't. I was taking people who didn't really know, who didn't have the awareness that they were wearing down, and this kind of facilitated a time for relaxation for them. And music then became a catalyst for relaxation.
Alrighty, first of all, let's hear your instruments. Everybody that has an instrument, let's hear you play them real quick. I don't hear you, Viola. Just play your instrument, Viola.
Hit it with a stick.
There you go, yeah, just hit it with the stick. Good, okay, that was just a trial run. All right, Viola. Now we're gonna start the music. Leona, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start off with Hail, Hail, the Gang's All Here.
Okay.
If you feel like singing, go ahead. If you want to play your instruments, play them nice and loud.
Okay.
Well, with the rhythm band, what I like to try and do is increase socialization skills. A lot of the ladies who don't normally like to come to group activities are very isolated, and my goal is I try and get them to at least participate in a group, some kind of socialization and group participation. If they just like to sit on the side, but they're at least passively participating, for me, that's at least accomplishing some kind of goal. You know, they're at least in the group watching rather than in their room. And then my next goal to try to do is get them to actually participate. And then also what I like to try and do with the rhythm band in particular is to increase the fine motor as well as the gross motor skills. Some of the ladies I know have, or gentlemen, I shouldn't just say the ladies, but mostly ladies are up on that floor. A lot of them have problems, you know, with whatever kind of motor coordination. And this way, the rhythm band, I can use instruments to be a type of therapy for them without them knowing it. And they can have fun, you know, and not actually have to think about, oh, this is therapy, oh, I don't want to do this. And they can shake a tambourine and really have a fun time and not even realize that they're doing something to strengthen their arm or to increase their grasping skills.
How about we do a slow one this time, just to change the pace a little bit. We're going to do a song that almost everybody knows. I think all of you know this song, Let Me Call You Sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because I'm in love with you. You. Good. Okay, so if you have those bells or those maracas, play along if you want. This is going to be slower, so you got to play a little slower, okay? If you don't feel like playing, sing along. It's a nice, pretty song. Brightened your day a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting old anyway.
Well, it's peaceful for me, that sweet melody, What I've found and also what I've learned through my schooling is that music is very non-threatening. It's a type of nonverbal communication that doesn't have to be understood. It's not something that you have to require or require an answer for. They can just sit and enjoy it and listen to it without having to answer back, but yet they can still have some kind of a response. I want you to choose.
Anything you give me.
I want you to decide. You pick something from here, all right? See how it sounds. You like that one? You're looking down at this box. So we pick something from here. Okay. You like that? You want to try one of the other ones out to see if you like it better? Okay. Very different sound. Here we go. Remember, play along any way you like. One thing I always try to do in whatever kind of groups I do with these residents is give them a choice, you know, because generally they say, oh, whatever you want, you know, and I say, no, it's not whatever I want, you know, because we all know that, especially in a nursing home situation, people don't have that many times when they're able to make a choice. So I like them to really pick out the one they want, the song they want to hear. Do you want to do this? Do you not want to do this? And they know that if they don't speak up, then they have no right to complain. So that's what I always say. If you don't vote, you can't complain. Okay. Ready? Not yet, but get ready. Here we go. And much better. Much better. With the instruments we've been working on for a while, that obviously is working on attention span and concentration. It really is hard. If you try it yourself, it's hard not to play that instrument when the music's playing. So I was real proud of them. I mean, we have been working on that a long time, and it's hard for them to focus. And then when I finally ended up doing it without speaking, that's really difficult.
Because there's lots of different ways to handle music therapy, and I had a lot planned. I never know what I'm going to do, really. I just plan a lot. I bring props, I do this, and then I'm kind of led by the moment.
Hello, Frida. Hello, Frida. If you talk, I'm gone.
Hello, Clara.
Hi, Clara. Hello.
Hi, Mildred. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. You're going to rub your nose.
Did you say it's a raccoon?
It's a raccoon. It's a Rocky Raccoon. Is he dead? Is that what you said?
He's not moving.
He's not moving?
No.
Do you think he's real? Do you think he's real?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't think he's real.
You don't think he's real? Okay.
No, he didn't scratch me.
Because he didn't scratch you. No.
He won't move.
He won't move.
He's dead.
You know what? I'll show you how to make him move. I'll show you how to make him move. See, you can put your hand in here.
Oh, that's a glove.
Yeah. Now put your fingers up in here. Now you can make him move. Can you make him move now? There you go. See? She can make him move.
Ah, that's her hand.
It's her hand.
That's her hand.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
I wish you were mine.
Okay, we're going to do another song. And he's walks with me and he talks with me and he tells. I just see so much results with music. People that maybe don't respond to anything at all, they just kind of sit there half sleeping, and all of a sudden they'll start singing a song. And maybe this person can't even talk, and yet they can sing a song. And as soon as I find out that there's a song that they like, then I always use it in the sing-along to bring that person out. Okay, what you got there, Charlotta? Let's see, you've got I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles.
Quiet, brother.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Charlotte. So music is really a great therapy to use, especially with the Alzheimer's. I mean, it's good with anybody, but it really can bring people out who are kind of quiet or in a shell.
Pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. Then like my dreams, they fade and die. Fortune's always saying, I've looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air.
You beat me. Good. You guys are doing a great job today. I love it. There and up. Here and up.
Just like old horse.
and wow, gee, you're getting me all mixed up. And what a cow. Moo moo here and a moo moo there. Here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo moo. MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had a Joanne. What kind of an animal did he have on the farm? Can you name an animal on the farm?
There's a racket or something of it.
A racket, but can you name an animal on the farm?
All I know he had a,
What?
It's a racket.
What did he have? He had a racket?
Yeah.
He had a racket. Okay, he had a racket on his farm. Well,
And
I
on the
guess he
farm,
did.
we didn't know the
If we were there, he did have a racket. And on this farm, he had a racket. I don't know, how does a racket go? It goes, woo! Makes a lot of noise. I don't know how a racket goes. The racket here, and a racket there. Here a racket, there a racket, everywhere a racket. Oh, MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. One more. Charlotte, what did he... Okay, Olga, it's your turn. Pick out a good one. What you got? What you got? The Old Rugged Cross.
Oh.
You like that one?
I like that one, but I don't know that I know it.
You don't know? Well, maybe, if you don't know the words,
It's
just
the
kind of hum
old
along.
rugged
That's
horse.
it. No, yeah, that's it.
I think music many times is like a direct pipeline to emotions. It's almost like going to the well. Musical memory seems to go back a long way. And the thing about it is, again, the level of participation can vary very widely. You have the person that became relaxed enough to sleep, which is an incredible goal sometimes to reach.
For some individuals.
But someone can tap their toes or clap their hands, snap their fingers. They can recall the words and sing.
Even for individuals who really haven't been strong verbally, sometimes we'll sing a song from beginning to end. I can remember on our unit, I was very pregnant during my time there, and there was a woman on the unit who every time I walked onto the unit, it was a new thing that I was expecting a baby. And she would ask me every day, "Are you Italian, Jill?" And I would say, "Yes." She said, "I am too. Do you know any lullabies?" And I would say, "No, I don't. This is my first baby." Every day she sang to me an Italian lullaby, and to this day, even for my second baby, I can sing that. We developed a wonderful bond because of that song. Music is really powerful and is appropriate for any time of day. We saw in the segments a really neat rhythm band happening, which is a real structured, real formal type of group, but it can happen on a much simpler level. Where you just get participation by people.
You might not always need the sophisticated instruments or whatnot. You can just use hands or voices or whatever.
Having the residents mirror what your motions are might be successful.
And again, it connects so much with the emotions, so you can generate anything from excitement to providing a channel for them to express some of those sadder emotions too.
And one thing I think people leading music groups need to keep in mind, you don't need to have talent.
You're smiling a lot at that.
Exactly. I have no musical ability. I sing horribly, don't play an instrument, but that really became, again, another situation for the residents and I to bond. I was singing off key or singing the wrong words to songs that were familiar to them, and they enjoyed correcting me or laughing at my out-of-key singing.
It's another way to make it okay for them to participate, however they can.
And to break that barrier of leader-participant. You kind of become one whole group. And I think that barrier is real important to break in reaching the clients and developing that cohesiveness you need in order to get to the essence of that person.
I think that's a really important point about activities as a whole, is that what we are doing is we're making connections with people, and it's from one person to another, even if it's in a group context, and that is the ultimate goal.
We will end the activities in the CBRF unit with the post-test. Remember that the post-test questions are the same as the pre-test questions. You will not be graded on your responses to these questions. The responses will be reviewed after you have completed the post-test. Now, turn off the videotape and complete the activities in the CBRF post-test in your workbook. Welcome back. Let's go over the post-test responses to the activities in the CBRF unit. Number 1. Activity programming is the key to providing quality care and quality of life for residents with dementia. That is true. Number 2. The assessment is the single most important component of a successful activity program. This is true. The assessment should get to the essence or basic nature of the resident. Number 3. In a group structure, you should not let the resident determine the topic of conversation. That is false. Let the resident determine the topic as long as they're participating and feel comfortable about doing so. Number 4. Art activities are only for the residents that have a special creative talent. This is false. Art activity can provide residents with dementia with an opportunity to express themselves. There need not be a right or wrong way. Number 5. Food activities provide a great deal of sensory stimulation for the resident. This is true. Number 6. It is important to take the resident's physical and mental limitations into consideration before designing an exercise program. This is true. Number 7. A life skill activity can provide a resident with feelings of being useful and successful. This is true. Number 8, recreational activities include sports, hobbies, and games. This is true. Number 9, the wishes of residents shall be considered before a pet is allowed in the CBRF. This is true. Number 10, music can be a non-threatening, non-verbal form of communication. This is true. And this will conclude the unit on activities in the CBRF.